Hi, everyone. Welcome to Talking Tech with Creatives podcast. I've always loved tech and finding cool new ways to use it. And AI has been taking things to a whole new level. So I'm excited to dive in, learn more, and share great stuff with you. The podcast is about getting to the heart of how experts in their fields have grown and used tech to keep advancing. It makes me realize that you don't always end up where you start. Our guest today is Ibukun Adebayo, a cybersecurity expert. Let me say a bit about Ibukun, and she's going to tell us more about herself. She holds leadership positions in cybersecurity and IT. She's a mentor and speaker and the founder of Ladder Back Down, with extensive experience in developing existing and future leaders. Ibukun is committed to corporate social responsibility and succession planning. She's also a board cybersecurity advisor. So, Ibukun, I'm pleased to have you as a guest on Talking Tech with Creatives. Please tell us more about yourself and also about Ladder Back Down.
Okay, so thank you for that introduction. Just a brief correction. My name is Ibukun Emmanuel Adebayo. And as you've said, this is a session where we'll be talking about tech, my passion for tech, which I know that you share as well. I'm a mother of 5, first of all, and a grandmother of 3 amazing young children.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Blessed to be married to an awesome gentleman, Emmanuel Adebayo, who has largely been behind the successful career that I've enjoyed, and on occasion had to begin again. Wow. Over the years. I've been in tech for about 25 years now, actually. And I started out by visiting a friend's house in Charlton, where I used to live. And I saw her son building a PC from scratch. And I took one look at that and I thought, oh, that doesn't look as hard as it actually is. Mm-hmm. And I decided to enroll on a workshop to learn how to build PCs, to build networks, and to do other things. And the rest is history.
Wow, that is incredible. And imagine technology at that time and technology now. We'll get to the tech part of it and how tech has evolved. Tell us a bit about your about Ladder Back Down.
Okay, the Ladder Back Down, the idea behind the Ladder Back Down was formed around 10 years ago, actually, almost 10 years ago to date, when I experienced some form of intra-race discrimination in a workplace. Having worked there for 9 years, it ended in the termination of that role. And at the time, I started wondering why Black human beings, in as much as we love one another from a distance, why we don't actually send the ladder back down to one another, why we don't help one another to reach the same heights that we may have reached in our careers. That was when the idea was formed. And when I now experienced a similar, when I went through a similar experience in another workplace, I decided to register the Ladder Back Down in January 2020 in the UK with Companies House as an organization created to inspire and motivate Black human beings to start helping ourselves just as other races do, with the belief that there's no help better than self-help.
That sounds incredible, and I can hear the passion in your voice. So is Ladder Back Down kind of like targeted to professionals in particular sector, or is it kind of like open to all? What is your vision there before I move into the tech bit of our talk?
The Ladder Back Down is open to every single Black human being on this planet. And we recently created a WhatsApp group, which has, over the past 4 months, should I say, grown from about 170 Black humans to 2,500 Black humans as of today. And we recently, within that community, thank you, we recently within that community started onboarding medical professionals and legal professionals so that they could actually start sending the ladder back down amongst themselves as well, amongst the medical community and amongst the legal community, to help those coming up behind them.
That's fantastic. So I'm going to move towards tech now. You kind of like, you already answered my question about what sparked your interest in tech, and the fact that you have quite a lot of experience from dating back to 25 years. But I want to know what your thoughts are on the evolution of technology. What is currently happening? What is your thought on that?
Well, we have artificial intelligence, of course, and that is going to be big in the future. However, there has been a lot of debate as to whether AI will take over a lot of human jobs. And I keep trying to express my thoughts that artificial intelligence, robotics, things like that have existed for many years. They have just improved and they've just started to evolve. We've had robotics, for example, in surgery. Some surgery has been done using robotics for many years. Artificial intelligence will evolve, but I still believe that it's humans that actually train
the intelligence. So
exactly.
What is your advice to the professionals in tech who feel threatened by AI? Because there are people who feel that when you go out there are people who say, I don't want to know about it. And the other people who are learning about it. What's your advice?
I would say embrace it, because I'm an advocate anyway for continuous learning, continuous development. And if you feel threatened by something, why not find out more about it? Why not learn it? So that indeed you can be part of the community of experts that will train those machines, that will actually become involved in programs or projects to actually develop artificial intelligence. Rather than feel threatened, rather than feel scared, embrace it, get involved.
And yeah, that's for me, that's exactly what I think as well. But sometimes it's difficult for people to understand. So I know you talked about the opportunities a little bit, yeah. So the challenges, I'm looking at what are the challenges or opportunities that you think technology poses for the future of entrepreneurship and society? Because there's opportunities and then there's challenges as well, you know. What do you think about that?
Well, we talk about the ethics of AI. So everyone's been talking about the ethics, that it's dependent upon the professionals or the persons doing the training. There's coding that needs to take place. I think that one of the challenges is a skills shortage. I know that many individuals don't want to actually learn how to code. And I understand that, because it is something different to what the majority of people enjoy doing. I actually started out as an SQL developer. So I learned Oracle SQL and Transact SQL. However, I found it quite challenging and I decided that it's not for me, because I'm not that quiet. Developers are really quiet and mainly introverted persons. Mainly, not all. And so I think one of the challenges is getting individuals and professionals that are ready to actually learn coding and start actually training these machines, training these chatbots, training these robots, training whatever needs to be trained to actually start doing AI ethically?
Actually, I'm going to tease a question out of what you've just said, because in terms of training the AI, I have come across some area of AI where we talked about the prejudice that actually current AI has prejudice because of the programming behind it. And that there has to be some kind of inclusivity, or like there has to be equity, there has to be some kind of inclusivity in AI as well. So maybe where people of color and Black people are involved in the coding and in the ethics and the policies, do you think there will be changes? And how does that come about? Do tech companies have to go out and actually be intentional in doing that?
Intentional in recruiting.
Those intentional in the policies, intentionally in making sure that AI is inclusive, that is not biased.
Well, I think that in the future there may need to be regulation involved in ensuring that AI remains ethical and inclusive for all. In the financial services sector, which is where I've spent the last few years of my career, there are many initiatives. For example, they say that they want 30% of women to be on boards or females to be on boards by 2025 or by a certain year.
That's good.
There are all of these regulations and standards that are being introduced. And I think that that may need to be implemented regarding AI as well.
Okay. And I think if people are invited by governments to come in and talk and contribute, I think they need to actually take that seriously as well. I believe so.
Yes. Yes, I think so. I believe that we also need to ensure that we have got the skills to be able to contribute. So as you've just alluded to there, it's one thing to be invited. It's another thing to actually go in with ideas and with the skills and ability to contribute to the discussions at the table.
Yeah. And actually finding out where those sources are. Talking tech with creatives, we're gonna, we should notes, we're gonna find resources that people can get to and look at those places and see how they can contribute to that.
Absolutely.
So which technology currently fascinates you? What do you like at the moment in terms of tech?
I'd say that I like smart technology.
Okay.
I like smart technology. I like devices that make life easier for busy professionals.
Okay, have you got examples?
So you've got all the, and I don't want to mention any specific technology, but you've got your smart heating, you've got your smart microwaves, you've got your smart cameras, you've got everything that is able to just give you that, time to walk into a warm house, for example, where you turn on your heating in advance of getting home. You walk into the house, you've programmed your microwave to cook the meal for you at a certain time, and it's done it before you arrive home. Smart technology is cool.
So we're talking about things like IoT, isn't it? Internet of Things.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Which is really, it's making things better. It's going a long way. It's still got a long way to go, in terms of, but it's the adoption is it's moving. So how do you use technology to leverage your time, money, and impact as an expert in your field? I know you've kind of like mentioned the smart technologies. Any other way as well to leverage your time?
I just use I just use smart technology as best as I can. And I don't use everything that I've mentioned there, by the way. So yes, I still am pretty old fashioned in terms of a lot of things myself. So whilst I enjoy technology in the workplace and everything, I don't necessarily use it to do everything that I should be using it for. I know that one of the things that has happened since COVID, of course, is that I've done a lot more workplaces online rather than, through Zoom, as we're doing now, rather than face to face. And I'm still not sure whether that's a good thing, in that I do like the human touch, I like the face-to-face contact. But on the other hand, one of the benefits of that is that I've been able to reach delegates in global communities that I may not have been able to reach if not for Zoom, for example.
You're right. So it's changing, but it looks as if, like, maybe as humans, we're used to the kind of like digital connections, and we have to be conscious that we have to have the human touch as well. We have to, you know. So what are some of the skills or mindset that professionals need to succeed in the digital age now? I know that we mentioned something earlier. What kind of mindset do they need to have to succeed in this age? Because it's changing. It's not going to go backwards. It's going forward.
An attitude of continuous learning, where you're learning every day. You learn from anybody, you learn from everybody, you learn from anyone, you learn from anything. There's a raft of information available to everyone. Once you've got your mobile phone, or you've got your laptop, or you've got whatever device you use to access the internet, there is a wealth of information to all of us. And in many instances, that information is available for free. So there's no excuse, or very minimal excuse, for us to stop learning at any age. Keep learning. That's my advice.
Thank you. That's a brilliant advice. So if you go back, you started your career 25 years ago. So let's say that you were Ibukun of 25 years ago today, and you were embarking on your new career. What's the first thing you're going to jump on? What would you do differently from 25 years ago? I'm just curious.
I would have more regard for myself and for my abilities. I wouldn't fear leaving a role if I felt that the role was, or the workplace was, unproductive for me or not for me.
Fantastic.
That's the main advice.
Fantastic.
Quit whilst you're ahead.
And what is your advice to the younger generation coming up now with everything that they've got? I know you talked about continuous learning, but this is specific to the younger generation now. What's your advice to them?
Take care of your mental health, your mental well-being. Ensure that you build relationships. Don't just sit in front of a device all day. Build relationships as well.
Yeah, the human touch.
Yes.
Because I think they're losing that a little bit now. So I'm going to just kind of like pivot to some little bits. Before I do that, I want to ask a question about life challenges. How have you coped with some of the challenges that you've come across in life?
Is it okay to mention that I'm a Christian? Well, I've mentioned it anyway.
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you. Yes, thank you. So faith has played a large part in my recovery from obstacles and challenges that I've faced. I've also been backed by parents who are strong, or who were strong in their faith. I'm also backed by a spouse, my husband, who is strong in faith. And I've had that support from them to keep going. I've always been inspired by their ability to pray things through. So I've never felt unsupported in my in my desire to keep standing up each time I faced an obstacle.
That's brilliant. And how do you balance your professional and home life?
Not too well at the moment. Not too well, because as soon as I come back home from my 9 to 5 job, I instantly jump on and I do ladder back down work, which is my passion. My passion, and that is my primary purpose and passion, actually, beyond my day job. My passion is to actually impact lives and to try and prevent, for want of a better word, other Black humans from going through what I went through in that workplace 10 years ago. That drives me every day to try and keep sending that ladder back down, to try and keep inspiring us to help one another rather than hinder.
Yeah, brilliant. And what do you enjoy doing? Kind of even the serious thing. I want to hear it.
Okay, so I enjoy playing the keyboard.
Ooh.
Yes.
Wow.
So, yes, absolutely. So 3 years ago, when my dad passed away, I can't sing that well, even though I've sung a song last year and released the song. But 3 years ago, when my father died, I felt I can't sing, but I had the words to a song. So I asked one of my sons to get his keyboard, his old keyboard that he hadn't used for about 8 years since his secondary school days. And I asked him to get the keyboard. We ordered a cable from Amazon, and then I tinkered around with one finger to play the song that I'd written on the keyboard and recorded it. And from that day to the end of the week, to the end of that week, I actually played about 87 tunes, my dad's favorite tunes from Songs of Praise on BBC at the time, played those and recorded them. And then I decided, oh, why don't you actually develop a ringtones website? So within 3 months, that had increased to 500 ringtones and devotionals. So I just stuck them on the newly developed website, tambourring.com. And those ringtones and songs are free of charge to be downloaded.
That's incredible. We'll add that to the show notes as well. Just once we get the link, we'll add it to the show notes. That's fantastic. So what puts a smile on your face?
My children, my husband, of course, my husband and my children, we have so much fun in the house. Yes, our house is known as a house of laughter. And my husband refuses to call me his angel, even though I've tried to force him over the years to call me his angel. He calls me troublesome angel. And the boys, of course, they support my husband. So we have a lot of fun in our house.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much for this interview. How do you want the listeners to connect with you?
And they can connect with me on LinkedIn. Through LinkedIn, Ibukun Emmanuel, that is my LinkedIn name, or they can connect with me on the Ladder Back Down's website, or through Twitter, or through my email address.
Thank you so much for this interview. This is Talk with Creatives podcast, and you can see how the range of Ibukun's experience and how she has fun. She's creative in both work and in fun. So thank you so much, Ibukun. Lovely talking to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.